Well, the middle class, especially black middle class, is very receptive of the EFF because they can relate to what the EFF is speaking about. We haven't made enough inroads on the white constituency because of its privileged position that when you say we now have to share this, they're like, I'm so used to the size of the cake and now I'm told that I need to share it with other people. So that is their reluctance, but they understand the message. And the captain of the industry, Christo Viso, is correct that in the absence of black people owning the land, the investment, and any other economic opportunity that exists in South Africa is threatened by lack of ownership of the land by the majority of our people. I don't have access to him. I don't speak to captains of industry. I just make my own presentations in different institutions. I never meet them privately. And I've made it my business not to engage with anyone in private conversations. So I go make presentations at places like RMB and other investment institutions to explain that there's nothing anti-whites about the policy of the EFF. So yesterday I said, you must tell Johan Rupert that when we take over, the first land we're going to take is his. And how do you take it? He has to share that land with others. Why do you own so much land as one individual and have so many people living in congested environment and unable to participate in the agricultural economy or any other economic activity because they don't have access to land? So that's all we say. Flip-flopping on Jacob Zuma. Remember, you were there in Parliament when we were removing Jacob Zuma. We said this is the most corrupt government. But now, Stats has confirmed that actually there's been more corruption under Ramaphosa than Zuma. That Ramaphosa is the only president who was found with stashed money under the mattresses and under the sofas. And that Ramaphosa collected millions of monies from big private capital in the name of CR17. So I'm not defending Zuma. I'm saying in comparison, we thought we were in a worse situation under Zuma, and it looks like we're in a much, much more worse situation now. The unemployment has extremely increased under Ramaphosa compared to Zuma. The economy has been declining under Ramaphosa, and the levels of crime in the Western Cape and all over South Africa under Ramaphosa have extremely increased. So, and when I say that, it doesn't mean I favor Zuma. I'm just comparing the two terms. But ownership of the Reserve Bank by the state is just an affirmation of our sovereignty, because main majority of the reserved banks in the world are owned by the state, and we cannot have our own reserve bank owned by individuals. So that's all we're saying. And with nationalization, it doesn't mean we're going to take a big construction company and make it a state construction company. No. Nationalization, we mean establishment of a state housing construction company, state road construction company, and there could be a private-owned construction companies, but the state must have its own internal capacity to do its own things. And that's what we're saying. When we say we're going to nationalize the mines, it doesn't mean we're going to take Anglo-American mine. It doesn't mean we're going to take Impala Platinum mine. It simply means the state must own a mining company that will be given preference, especially on profitable minerals. The same goes with the banks. We're saying we establish a state-owned bank. That's what nationalization of the EFF means. Because nationalization simply means state ownership. And we are going to establish our own bank, and then the rest of other banks must compete. This is not a threat to the banks. Look at private schools. The private schools are there, and public schools are there. The establishment of public schools did not lead to the closure of private schools. The establishment of state-owned hospitals never led to the closure of private hospitals. If anything, the private hospitals are thriving more than the state-owned hospitals. So why, when it comes to the banking sector or insurance sector or the financial sector, people say, no, you can't interfere there. But everywhere else, we've got private and public owned of many other committees. I'm a member of one committee of ethics, and I've always made sure that I attend the meetings of the ethics committee. And if I don't, I send my apology. And when I attend those meetings, I make meaningful contributions, which are, in terms of quality, more than the people who attend. Because to attend and to make meaningful contributions are two different things. There are people who go there every day, and because committees give people food, they're going there for food, and they don't make any constructive input in those committees. But the EFF took a deliberate decision not to deploy me into many committees, because I'm a president of a party, I'm also a member of parliament, and I've got extra responsibilities, not only in South Africa, in the continent as well. More men on the grounds, because we need to combat this crime, and it should be done within the shortest space of time. And you need police leadership. So let's take Western Cape, for instance. The problem is that you'll find majority of station commissioners involved with these gangsters who are going around extorting people and taking monies from people and sharing that money with the police. So you need a complete overhaul of the police system in the Western Cape. If it means sending them out of the Western Cape and bringing people from KZN, Eastern Cape, Limpopo into Western Cape to fight gangsterism, to fight drugs, let's do so. Everyone who performs well everywhere, there is what we call performance bonuses. And that's what we're saying. Cash in transit haste. You're chasing most dangerous criminals who are carrying 5 million. And you know that even if I return this 5 million, I don't stand to get anything out of this. Why should I take this kind of risk if it's not going to be compensated? When you arrest those criminals, they've got 5 million, they offer you 2 million, and you get tempted to take it because police officers are not paid enough to fight dangerous criminals, including investigation. We need to investigate. Police who investigate successfully, because police arrest, then the case gets messed up by investigating officer. If you investigate successfully and that case is properly prosecuted, there must be bonuses for such.
Let's go to a question on the voice note line, 0725671567.